Welcome to the Creating Experience podcast, where we take you behind the scenes of unforgettable events. I'm Emma and I'm joined by my co-host James. Together we bring you years of experience in the event industry. Happy birthday.
You planned that, didn't you?
I actually didn't. That's how my brain works. It just goes boom.
All right.
Happy birthday.
Yeah. How old?
10.
Oh my God.
Oh.
Feels weird doing a podcast again.
I know.
It's good.
That's good.
What are we talking about today?
Our birthday, duh. Oh dear. Yes. So we've been 10 years, 9th of November, 2014. I was nearly say 2024.
Yeah.
And your brain had a little idea. Do you want to tell the story? Because I always tell the story.
Yeah. Well, obviously
Can't say where
back then I was obviously professional drummer and teaching drums, and you were working a day job.
I was doing business development
for
a training company.
Training company or a recruiter at that point?
I was the training company.
And then you went recruiter.
I went recruiter and then I went full time.
But yeah, had this, wanted to start an entertainment company, booking bands and talent for different events. Obviously, my background as a musical director, we could do specialty type band projects as well. But yeah, that's kind of where it all started out of that. We started obviously pushing to do weddings.
And we very
we were going
quick-
to do venues, but the market was already taken by another company.
And we didn't
in the venues, but we didn't really want
to do that.
Chase that.
Well, so our first clients, we got Shelley's Cafe and Munch's Cafe. So we had buskers every week throughout summer.
Yep.
And then we had Dutton's. Remember Dutton's Dutton's Tavern in the main street of Gosford?
Yeah. Yeah. That was sort of the first 12 months, wasn't it? From like 2014. It was very much a hobby side.
Very much
hobby
a hobby
for that.
Yeah.
For that first 12-month period, did a lot of weddings, the occasional corporate. We do our first Stars in 2015.
Our first Stars event was
2015. Yes, because it's 9 years this year.
No, it's 10 years this year.
No, well, this next one coming around will be the 10th that we've been involved.
Oh, sorry. I'm trying to turn my watch.
What are you doing?
I'm trying to...
Oh, Siri. Wowzers.
I was trying to turn my watch off and then it asked me your question.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's why I went into DJing, because no one was booking bands for weddings.
That's right.
And I think you did one wedding. Did you do one?
I did do one DJ wedding and I hated it.
And I was like, oh, I really like this. This is fun.
Yeah.
So
that was sort of the first 12 months. We did Stars. We did Stars
Yeah.
in 2015. That was the second year of Stars running, but we went with this concept of doing it with a live band, and then 9 years later we're still doing that.
Yeah.
But
I mean the band has shrunk a little bit.
the band shrunk. First year I went all out.
You did. It was like, I think we had like 15.
Yeah, it was a big band.
I think we had like
Had a lot more time on my hands back then.
Now you don't even chart the show.
I don't even chart them. Be lucky to play them. So
yeah, very early on.
That was the first one. And then I think it was the start of 2016 was when we won. Well, we won our first council contract.
That's right, Australia Day at Woy Woy.
Yes, because Kibble Park, they were booking themselves.
Yes, that's right.
And we went, and obviously we had a background in production and family ties within production. And we went to the meeting with council. We kind of had an idea of the production company that was doing the Australia Day stuff. And at that point, and I suppose we've always been like that though, we were pretty adamant about the quality of production we wanted with the talent we were putting forward. We kind of said to council, if we don't have the right supplier or the right level of production behind what we're trying to do, it'll be pointless, essentially. And essentially got to the point where at that time, council turned around and said, okay,
Book it yourself.
you go and source it. You go and source it yourself.
This is back before tender days.
Well, yeah,
It was
at that
Gosford
point, the
Council.
value wasn't even.
No.
The value wasn't even a tender worthy
No.
value, was it?
No.
Very different. So council turned around and said, yeah, you go get your own production supplier,
So
essentially. So we went and approached a company, and at the time they said, oh, that's not really the type of thing we do. And
they
we
were
went
too
back.
busy too.
Yeah, they were too busy. They had a lot of stuff going on.
Yeah.
And so we turned around and they said, oh, we'll hire it to you though. So we hired all the gear. Very green, very fresh we were. Pulled the team together. And then, because then we ended up running the Kibble Park production. So
We
that's what
did.
they were like, do Kibble Park the night before. Council had already booked that talent.
That's right.
And then we took the production to Woi Woi the next morning. And
Actually, yes.
And then-
it wasn't council that booked it. It was another supplier.
Oh, it was. Actually,
Yeah,
it was. It was the
it
other.
was.
Yeah, it was the other
Yeah.
entertainment company.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
Yeah. So that's
yeah.
how we.
And then we
went
did
into-
production on that, and we were kind of like, this whole concept. Obviously, we'd had a background of dealing with production companies, external production companies, and when we did that whole process ourselves in house, we were like, oh, this is actually a lot smoother.
And I was like, oh my gosh, I never want to be a production company.
And that's when you said you never wanted to be a production company.
Alas.
And
Here
but
we
here we
are.
are.
And now I love it.
But yeah, and then that kind of then the 2016, that was start 2016 was when we had the conversation about you leaving your job.
Yeah, which
to-
was so crazy. I never would have thought. You've always worked for yourself, but I've
Yeah.
always worked for someone and had, a steady income and car. Like I even had a company car over the few jobs that I had. So
Yeah.
it was super scary. And you're like, we'll be right. And I was
Yeah.
like, oh,
Yeah. And so we very much DJs, photo booths. We built those photo booths.
what was it?
units. Bought a whole bunch of gear off Grays
Grace
Online.
Online.
Old Sydney Entertainment Centre gear.
That's right. Our first PA was the QSE system.
QSC system. Bought some old moving lights from EI
That's right.
So-
And then built it up.
and just built it from there.
And then we're running weddings. I remember there was a date, one of the like iconic dates, 8/18 or something
It was
like
October.
10/10.
It was in October, yeah.
10/10/10.
No,
10,
would have
10,
been 10.
Oh, no,
14/10/14.
Something.
No, or 16/10/16.
No, it was like
One of those dates where it was like,
Yeah, anyway, or 12, no, it wouldn't have been that. Anyway, it was just like we had 5 or 6 weddings on the one day, and it was just the most insane feeling to think that we had that many weddings going at the one time. So we ended up scaling back and saying, no, we're not going to do as many weddings on one day, because if someone was sick or something happened.
There was a lot of pressure
Yeah, it was a lot of
on
pressure.
doing weddings.
Yeah.
Plus the clientele.
Yeah, it just
was
became a
little
much.
bit tricky.
So then we were going to get out of weddings, and then that COVID pandemic hit. And so the only things that we could do were weddings and funerals.
Yeah, it was a bit of a funny. I mean, but even because that was
2020.
2020. So we had 4 years. 4 years of
19,
just
10,
steady
19.
steady
Yeah, that's what
growth.
it
I think it was
was.
at 20. I think it was probably 2017. The warehouse at West Gosford came along.
Was it?
It was pretty soon afterwards.
Yeah, I
Because we
just
were at
remember.
Terrigal. We were at Terrigal operating out of a
Out of our house.
two car garage.
We even had that as a studio, remember? And we did the
Yeah.
house band and we filmed some videos.
We filmed videos out of there.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then so the warehouse.
Did we
came
hire
along.
that house before or after those? Because we hired a house at Terrigal and did those.
Those promo
Promo
videos. Yeah, that was
videos.
first. That
Yeah.
was the very, very start. That would have been in the first year, like in
Yeah.
2014. We did the promo video shoot. But
We'll have to show some footage of that.
yeah,
That was cool.
We did promo videos out of the garage. We had a little bit of it was like a recording studio. setup.
That's right. And I remember our real estate agent coming in and going,
Came
what
in-
have you done?
came
And they're
in and
like,
did the-
nothing's connected to
Yeah,
the
he
walls.
came in and did the inspection, and he goes, "What the hell is this?" I said, and I turned around to him and said, "It's okay, mate. It's not touching the walls
At all.
Nothing's touched the walls, so you're all
Yeah.
good."
That's when you got your DW drum
That was when
kit.
I swapped over to DW.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my
So,
goodness.
Yeah, it's
many
it was
memories.
such a But
It
then
was
obviously
funny.
during that period, then because then I think was it 2016? Wasn't it 2016 was when we then won our was the first Lakes Festival contract?
Yeah. And
Or
we
was that
won.
2017? I feel like it was 2016 because we did
No,
Mingara
it
Relay.
was 17 because it was Potbellies.
It was
our first
2017, was
one.
it? Yeah.
Yeah.
But even that, like the level of production, like we you know,
was
hiring trucks. That was when we first met Crystal Productions because we hired more of the DVA PA.
That's right.
2016 was when we bought the DVA PA from NAS. And then
we had to get more.
2017, and then we had to hire more.
And it was before the stage was
the
covered
entrance.
at the entrance,
That's
and we
right.
elevated the marquee
They did the
to make
marquees.
it.
Did the marquee height
Yeah.
change and stuff. So
Yeah. So
it
never
was-
did we think, I guess, we were going to do production.
it was
and
yeah,
now
and it
it's
was
like,
steady growth all the way through. You know, and then there was obviously a couple of council tenders where
Yeah,
we
we won those.
won council tenders, and you know,
Kind of kickstart us into where we
kickstarted us. Yeah.
grew.
Yeah, and we
Bigger.
kind of helped elevate the council events at that time from where they were. Like,
Yeah, absolutely.
Even from where they were to what they are now. But yeah, we won a couple of tenders through that time for council. But then yes, COVID.
COVID hit. I'm looking at some of these questions. It was like, how did the COVID pandemic shape your business?
Yeah,
It sure did. I guess
it was
crazy that day.
It's interesting even some of the relationships.
That we've got now.
Yeah, well, I just thought of someone that I was talking to, and I probably wouldn't mention who that was now.
Oh.
But we were doing a job at Wyong. Love Lanes was one of the last jobs we did.
I know where you are.
Yeah,
Yep.
we hired a stage, and remember chatting to them about it. And he goes, I reckon it's going to
Screw the
it's
industry.
going to shut it down big time.
And I was sitting over there.
And-
I remember that day, and it was just like
And then 2 weeks later, it was like
the phone calls came in.
the phone calls started coming and everything, and
Everyone was
everyone would start by, so you've heard the news about
And we're like,
about
no.
the restrictions, and it's just like, oh my god, yes.
I think I ended up getting to a point where I didn't answer my phone.
Yeah.
I was just like waiting for all the emails of the cancellations of events. And I guess for us, it was like there were things that we'd done, and we very quickly learned our lesson about getting deposits. And it was like, we've done all this work and haven't got any money from it, and then tried to invoice for, and they're like, why are you invoicing us? And I'm like, because we've completed work. But that was crazy. And then we went into live streaming.
Yeah, we did.
You were like, I remember looking at what you were doing. I was like,
sitting there watching,
oh my gosh.
I remember I was scrolling through my Facebook, sitting outside the warehouse, and I was scrolling, and I saw two companies promo live streaming or online events, and it was kind of like we'd never touched vision. Like we were really just audio and lighting.
Yeah.
The most vision we would do would be like a vision switch and TVs, or
yeah.
a projector and screen. And so like cameras was just nah. Streaming, I was like, nah, I don't want it. And then
One of our clients at the time came to us and said, can you do this?
That's right. Well, no, we'd just done an install at St. Peter's. We'd done an install at you're talking about the other client.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, at the time we were partnering with the Mariners, and Sean came to us with an idea. He goes, obviously they couldn't have crowds, but they were like, oh, can we, we want to keep the match, the match day experience.
That's right.
So we want to do like a TV show. And we're like, okay, yeah, all right.
We
and
can
so
do that. Mariners TV was
4
born.
days. 4 days, not streaming at all. And I remember because I spoke to Judgy at St. Peter's. We'd just installed some cameras at St. Peter's.
Yeah.
And I can't remember what I might have. I think I
borrowed the gear.
But I thought I bought one extra camera. I bought one extra camera and one extra controller when we did the install, just to have a muck around with it. And we'd never pulled it out of the box. And then that job came around, so I called Judgy up and said, "Can I borrow a couple more?"
That's right.
Borrow a couple more cameras, and then
that day, and we were in that corporate
first Mariners
box.
And we had Tyson on Zoom
That's
on the
right.
mobile phone.
Oh my gosh!
And now I would cringe at that now, but
But we had got it done. Like it was,
That was
and
the
I
very
remember
first
looking at
episode.
it, going, "I don't know what's going on, but just give me the camera." And that's why I became a camera operator, and I loved it.
But it was
Crazy time. We
Crazy.
converted our warehouse and got gigs. People coming in here to do live music events.
We had the Mariners game, and then we were meant to do Harmony Day for council.
It was Flavors by the Sea.
That's right.
Yeah.
And so we actually then
Talked council
into letting us stream it.
Yeah.
And
it
it was
off.
huge. That was the very first one.
Yeah.
And I mean, like, it was so, like, our color balancing was horrendous. Like, you look back at it now and you just laugh. But, like, there was so many. I think it was just the fact that there was nothing else for anyone else to do.
No, so everyone just sat online.
And everyone sat online. And so we, we went through that whole, and you picked up whatever you could pick up. And I suppose some of the unique ones were obviously like when we did Chrome Fest.
The training awards. The business awards, sorry.
The business awards that turned around.
Funny story, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was back in when there was the whole close contact.
Yeah, so we had someone came in. We did rehearsals the day before the awards because people were coming in to present, and one of our presenters was a close contact of the family member. So then everyone had to go online, and even our guy that was coming in to operate with us on the day, we had to term him away because he wasn't allowed, because we'd been potentially exposed. And I've never experienced nerves like that in all my life. I don't think.
So the whole thing ran over Zoom. We had teleprompt running over Zoom.
We had MC.
The MC over Zoom. And because the Zoom call was feeding into Vimeo as well. So it was all going out to Vimeo, but all the award recipients were in a Zoom call.
That's right.
Because what we did is we would pull the recipient, the award winner, into a breakout room to then get interviewed. It was just, you sit there now, but like I remember.
It was Amanda Woodbine, remember?
Right.
She got pulled into a room. She's like, why am I in this room by myself? And then she's like,
then she won the award and she realised what had happened. But it was, one of those times where you tried to do anything. Because there was literally, there was so little work, like any bit of work that you got a hold of, you would do whatever possible to try and make sure you delivered in some way.
We did graveside burials.
Yep.
Remember that? We did a few. There was one at where was it? The end. No, the end of that, between the entrance and I can't remember. But I remember doing that one, and we ran a generator to run all the gear. We did a Wombrel one.
There was a lot of because that was interesting because we obviously went to hit all the funeral homes up.
Yeah.
But they were actually already
live
equipped.
Yeah.
Like they were probably the most equipped and prepared going into that period. But yeah, when people are doing funerals in churches or on like graveside burials, then they didn't have the resources. Yeah. And for a short period there, that was, we were doing them weekly.
Yeah. So it went back to Jimmy and I just working.
Yeah. It was a very interesting time.
It was very crazy. But then we came out the other side. And look, and now we still run hybrid events, and
streaming's such a big part. Like, I mean, like even like the Mariners TV with that partnership through that period. Mariners TV, like we were doing it before every game, every game. And that was before we kind of picked up the stadium contract. I think the tail end of COVID was when we got the stadium contract with doing the stadium audio.
Yeah.
But yeah, that whole period was cool. It was a very unique thing for the club.
Yeah.
To be able, and that partnership within the Mariners not only enabled them to be able to engage with their fans in a very, like, they had all the other A-League clubs looking at it going like, how the hell?
They did have one that
how the hell
copied.
are you trying to do it?
Yeah.
Victory tried to copy it. But yeah, and it was great. It was a great way to connect. Like we had Zoom calls coming in, and then
players from overseas,
club content,
yeah,
and then obviously then having players also come into studio to be interviewed. It was
fun.
It was great.
Yeah,
and it was good too for the sponsors too. Like back then, it was like it was all those guys that were there for that long period, like Mate, DMC, Master Foods. They were all there.
Yeah, from
that early 2017, 28 period all the way through to the end of the
last
treble.
Year. Yep.
So,
anyway, what would you say your biggest milestone is that you've achieved so far?
Milestone.
Yeah.
What was?
Or what? Okay. COVID.
Yeah, I don't know.
What's your biggest achievement so far with the company?
I don't know. We haven't even got to the part where we took on 2 other sites.
Yeah.
In that conversation, post-COVID, because post-COVID, everything took off.
It did.
Post-COVID was nuts.
Mm-hmm.
Like
trying to rebook and reschedule.
Even with that
events.
That on and off period too.
That was crazy, and trying to get through. Like we was, as I said, we went back into doing weddings, so there was so many postponements.
That's right. You had a lot of weddings.
I had so many weddings. It was just insane.
Yeah, that's kind of what screwed. That's actually what kind of screwed the wedding industry. It was interesting seeing the different industries and how they because for the wedding industry, they literally had this pile up of events that just kept getting rebooked, and a lot of companies kind of got taken advantage of, really, because at the end of the day, they just we copped some flack for like charging rebooking fees and stuff like that, but you had to, because you'd already spent time putting it all together, and then you'd have to rebook, so then you'd have to rebook artists and rebook suppliers and supply dates wouldn't line up. Yeah, then it just got messy. Got this big chunk of work that had already been paid for that hadn't been yet delivered. That's right. And then it took up new dates that people were trying to book. Yeah. So it was just an absolute mess. Whereas your corporates and everything like that, they just kept rolling through. And it cleaned out some companies and work just you've never seen so much. It's only realistically probably now in the last sort of 6 to 8 months that whole tail dip end of COVID's probably really starting to 100% to fall off. Yeah. In some. But unfortunately, the wedding industry has really got it hit hard. They said, people during that 2-year period weren't meeting. They weren't, so there's a good 2 years. There's a lack of couples. Or maybe a lack of couples that lasted through COVID. Unlucky we did, hey. But yeah. We survived. Yeah, we always do. All right. And then what's coming out of COVID, I mean, it's just exploded since then. Yeah. Probably the last 12 months. We did some pretty notable gigs, actually, between that, before we get to the last 12 months. I reckon, yeah. So what's your most notable? My Sharon gig. Your Sharon gig. Yeah. So my extravagant 50th birthday. Yeah. 6 weeks, wasn't it? It was 6 weeks. And I've never, like I say, nerves through the business awards online, but
had sleepless nights where I was like, oh my gosh, what have I thought of? Some huge learning curves in that event, but the most rewarding event to date.
Yeah.
And I'm still friends with her to now. So,
Yeah.
and yours?
Probably prior to that, I don't know. Like I'd say, like I think doing the Master Builders Awards job, that was a pretty big one. It would be the Sharon's one before that, but I think that one actually set us up quite well for how we handled Master Builders.
Yeah,
like,
definitely.
And you come across different jobs every now and then that, like, you know, definitely push your comfort level.
Like our wedding. No, I'm kidding.
No,
I
that was
think
easy.
Sharon set us up for our wedding.
I think it was just the fact we were so busy with other stuff at that time that was more pressure than what it should have been. But yeah, I don't know. You look at the sheer amount of jobs that we do.
We'll look at Chrome Fest this weekend, the amount of gear that we've got going out this weekend. We've got 6 stages. We've got 30 bands. We've got another event management site that we're activating with cars and market stalls and a bar. So
that's probably the big thing. Well, obviously, in Sharon's like you, we then started to you stepped into the event management side of things.
And realised that we could do that.
Yeah.
And having the amount of contacts that we've got in industry that are of quality, plus having the production side in-house has definitely allowed us to go into that event management side, which is growing as well.
Yeah. So, and then obviously like the last 12 months ago, we took on the Newcastle opportunity, officially expanded into Newcastle.
I can't even believe that's been a year.
Yeah.
That's insane.
Yeah. And obviously that whole transition period was
that was crazy.
Pretty crazy.
Because we had to get on the phone, the company that we took over, we had to there were jobs booked in. There was jobs booked in their system. There were jobs that were booked in that weren't in their system that we came across. Yeah. So we were like...
We essentially had a 2-week period where we had to honour everything.
We were just
we're trying to
people.
Getting trailer stages from left, right and centre. But it was good, you know.
It was a great challenge.
Great challenge and, you know, cleaned out one warehouse and then took on another one. Took on another one. Then took on the Port Macquarie opportunity. So, which, you know, both of them.
We do like to keep ourselves challenged, I guess. That's probably one thing that we do.
But it's cool. Like, you know.
Look, challenges.
Yeah. Yeah. I think we've built a great team over that period as well.
That's probably something that I'm super proud of is the connections that we've got through our clients, but our team is they work so hard.
Yeah. And we can, you know, it now JC is so much more than just us. Yeah. Too. Like it's not.
That's why we're trying to get our guys in front of the camera.
Yeah, from next year we won't be doing the podcast anymore. So.
We'll get Jacob and Lara, then Neve and Yolanda.
But yeah, no, it's definitely you know, you definitely. I think that's probably the biggest thing from the business side of things. Because we like to have a hold on it, like we can be control.
A little bit of control. Well, it's our brand, right? At the end of the day, but the staff that we've got now, I think. You know, live up to that.
There's a huge amount of trust. Amount of trust,
and I now work 4 days a week. Well, not this week, but
And you look at what you look at even in the 12-month period we've just done, like this year, like some of the weeks that we've pulled off, and the sheer amount of gear
that's gone out.
I think that Mariners grand final week.
Yeah, that was hectic.
Let alone the experience of obviously like having a grand final at Central Coast, which I honestly it will never happen again.
it was
it probably won't happen again.
But Central Coast Council and Destination New South Wales threw that live site at us, and
4 days.
It was 4 days to pull. So we can definitely pull an event together. That's for sure.
Yeah.
We
So
I like the challenge though. I like the challenge of when someone throws us something.
Because we had ATSA that week as well in Sydney.
Yeah.
We had ATSA.
Was that in Sydney or Brisbane?
Yeah, no, I was in Sydney because then Brisbane was the following week.
So never would we have thought that we would be doing events or jobs in Queensland or Melbourne.
Yeah.
I would never have thought.
No.
And now where people ask and we go, we can go anywhere.
Yeah.
Within reason.
Yeah. And then, but yeah, even then you look at that back end period of September that we just went through with Tocal, East Coast, regional awards, Stars of Newcastle, like it's...
Yeah, it was, Heartbeat of the Hunter.
Yeah.
It's like...
Yeah.
It was like Friday, Saturday, and like 4 like major events. But, yeah.
So, but no, we keep growing.
Keep building the right team.
Yeah.
Having the right clients.
I think, I think we've got
some great
awesome
clients now. Yeah.
Awesome clients. But I think too, I think for the business owners, if the business owners that are listening it's probably learning that lesson that you don't necessarily need every client.
Yeah.
You just need
your quality clients.
the good ones.
Yeah.
And
people that actually value and respect your business.
Your time
and
your
time.
service. And it's very easy to get caught up in the dollar figure, and there's always going to be a dollar figure restriction.
And it's hard to walk away.
But I think the biggest thing at the end of the day is if everyone has a respect for both sides of the service, then
it's having tough conversations too.
Yeah, you can't go wrong. And it's I look at so many brands over the years now that we've worked with and elevated from where they used to be.
Yeah.
So
pretty proud.
It's very cool. It's very cool to see the mark we've left on the Central Coast, particularly.
So now we're going to
now
conquer
we're
Newcastle and Port Macquarie.
So.
Yeah, we've just come on board with Newcastle Jets as their Jets in Business sponsor, which is very cool, working with Zane and Jason up there.
Yep.
And the team. So that's pretty exciting times.
Yep.
So met some really great people over the last 2 weeks in Newcastle, which has been great.
Yep.
And then Port.
Yeah, some cool things about to start
Very
happening
cool
in Port
things
Macquarie.
up in Port Macquarie.
So, we're just continuing to build the team up there.
The right team up there.
And, watch this space. Because
give it a few weeks.
Yeah.
A few months. And that'll be pumping as well.
Yeah.
Culture and values. I guess we can talk about that. We've, our team... Every Monday we have what's called a sync up, and we catch up with our team and we talk about new things, new news, just the
check in with each department.
Make sure everyone's good in what they've got. But then we do something called recognition and identify a value for a week, and I feel like we've connected more as a team and a company now because we recognise someone or team members that they think that they've done a great job, something that they did, and then what value they're going to work on for the week. So we've really implemented our values and making sure that our team aligns with those values, because we've always said we don't want to be a company that talks crap to each other. We want to, always make sure that we're always a fun-loving family, which I feel like we are. We're having our family dinner again on Tuesday next week. And we got the guys from Port coming down for Chrome Fest. So we wanted to make sure we include them in the family dinner as well. So I feel like our team, we're doing that really well. We're definitely implementing some massive changes.
Big changes in the last since April.
Yeah.
And can't. Yeah, no looking back at the moment. That's for sure. So.
We've kind of spoken about this one, but out of the 100 events you've produced, which ones hold special memories? I think, even though
Can you just do top? Can we do top three? Top three?
Top three, yeah. Okay. Stars of Central Coast for me has always held a special place in my heart.
Mm-hmm.
I guess that's something that we dedicate our time to free of charge for that event. And I've made so many amazing friendships and clients. We've got clients out of that, brand awareness, and the dancers, friendships that I've made out of that. And knowing that the funds raised from that goes to an extremely special cause. Again, losing dad, that's probably one of the biggest challenges, even from a work perspective, that I had to overcome is, losing your dad and trying to keep running a business was pretty hard. I think I was pretty crappy over that period. I was like wanting to be with him more so than at work. But I guess that's having a business partner that understands when you're down. And I think that's probably something that we do. I'm going off topic, but I'll get back in. But I must say, that's, I guess, what James and I do really well is that if one of us are down, the other one knows that they've got to step up.
Yep.
And I think we've got our back, each other's backs. So anyway, so mine's Sharon's, my Stars event.
Yep.
Probably my council contract we've had for such a long period of time. We've been successful in, tendering, and we work hard on those events because we know that we're the eyes, people are looking at us. They know that's what we do. So I can't pinpoint a particular event, but it's like that contract in particular that I'm proud of. You named it top three.
Yeah, I know. I named it.
And my wedding.
Shit! Now I've got to put that in there.
You don't have to. I put it in it.
Yeah, I'd say probably. I think when we did Master Builders, that was a big step, high profile gig, hundreds of pieces of content. But I think it was definitely one of those gigs that definitely defined where we were sort of heading. Were
they the same year, Sharon's and Master Builders? I think they were.
I feel like they were. I'm not sure actually. No, I feel like Master Builders might have been a whole year later.
Was it?
Yeah. Ugh. Yeah, I feel like.
All the years are merging into one.
I would say like that A-League Grand Final weekend. On the coast, that was pretty. Actually, to be honest, I'll probably say as well. Actually, obviously this season we're not partnering with the Mariners, but like what we did for that club, over that 7-year period, with Sean and
I'm gonna get emotional. Now.
All the event managers over that time. I think it was. We kind of changed the way in terms of how we handle sponsorships with that brand. And, you talk to a lot of partners and a lot of people over that period. It's, big shoes to fill, that's for sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, that A-League Grand Final weekend was
hectic.
Was crazy. And just that moment, I
And
obviously got to sit in the box and operate, and I still remember, we talked about it on a previous podcast, but I still remember that moment where Noda turns around and he goes, stand by victory winning song, stand by stage, stand by pyro, and then Mariners score. And he just goes, cancel that. So, that's
and I
probably...
guess, that kind of also threw us into a different part of sport as well with sports press and what we can deliver now to other sporting clubs. Yeah.
So, and then last one, I don't know. I think we haven't really touched much on like obviously the festivals and stuff side of things, but like, you know, I love our trailer stage setup and what we bring to that. Actually, probably Glenworth Grazing. Glenworth Grazing would be another one because, again, that's another event that we've really helped elevate. But it's grown, like that event's grown as we've grown.
Yeah. It was,
well.
I remember we just had like little marquee
the
stage.
First couple of years. But, you know, and yeah, Glenworth Valley is another one. Like we've done some really cool corporate events as well over that time there as well. But I would say, yeah, so, yeah, Master Builders, A-League Grand Final, Glenworth Grazing.
Yeah.
But
and your wedding.
And the wedding. But you said that in your top 3, so.
No, that was my 3.5. What advice would you give to someone starting out in event management or production? Don't do it. No, I'm just kidding. Work hard. Be prepared. I would say be prepared to work long hours, but know that the hours that you put in will be so rewarding when you sit back and watch your first big event come to life.
Yeah. I would say...
Don't do it. No.
No, I would say...
Make sure you like your partner before you start a business with them.
I'd say 2 things. One, which I think is very important for any business, is to know the value of the service you provide. And we've gone through different waves of that. You know, being the cheaper guys, being the expensive ones. And it fluctuates as we sort of progress through the different stages of our events, but I think being very open to what the value of what you supply is.
Know your worth.
Know your worth and be prepared. Be prepared to get a no, but also be prepared to say no to a client.
Yeah.
And I think there's been a lot of years we've told clients no. There's been a lot of no's.
It's hard.
There's probably been more no's.
No's and yes,
both ways, from us saying no to clients and clients saying no to us than what we've had.
You're not going to win every job.
You won't win every job.
Yeah.
And
it hurts sometimes, but then you grow from it, right?
Yeah.
So looking back over the 10 years, what would you tell your younger self?
Trust people more.
Trust people more, yeah. Learn to let go a little more.
Let go and trust your team.
Trust your team. Build the right team to be able to trust your team. Because if you got the right team, it makes it a lot easier. Yeah.
Like we look at Chromefest this year.
I know. I said to one of the artists' dads came in this morning who does work for us, and he goes, "So Chromefest on Sunday," and I'm like, not me. Yeah. So he turned around to the girls and goes, "So Chromefest on Sunday." I was like, and then I said to Lara, like, where do you need me? She's like, "Oh, just wherever." I'm like, oh my gosh. But this time last year I was pulling my hair out.
We're going to the basketball on Sunday.
Oh, yeah. So this next one, how do you manage your balance of family life and business, especially when it requires so much of your time? Well, we've learnt that lesson. We've just said it. Yeah. Trust your team. Build the right team and trust them.
Got to be home by 6:00 every night.
I set that rule pretty early in the piece. And also no laptops is one of our rules at home, unless something is super pressing. Like
due. But even then now we're that bad. We're shit at working at home.
Yeah, I can't remember the last time I had my laptop out. Actually, you've probably been better than I have at home.
Yeah.
And now we've got to a point where I have mandatory Wednesday off. We're trying to get Jim to that point. But and trying not to answer my phone.
Yeah, so if you call her on a Wednesday, don't.
I will promise I won't answer. Don't email me. I do put an out of office on. But that in itself, just having that day, because, I mean, it's not saying I work a 4-day week because I don't, but it's having that day off
To switch off.
or just to get my washing done. And then even did some gardening last week, which was very unlike me. In the backyard with the dogs. I don't know. I'm pretty happy with what we've said.
I think we've covered a fair bit.
Yeah.
Just go back up a little bit. What was that?
Oh, what's next for JC?
What's next for JC?
Ooh. Well,
there's stuff happening. We can't announce it here,
not yet.
but
Our next podcast we will.
yeah, we had this
In
podcast.
6 months'
Actually, there's a
time.
podcast series we were going to do.
Oh, yeah.
We had that in planning, but we just haven't really got around to that.
Yeah.
But there'll be a podcast series.
Yeah, we're going to do a series with some suppliers and clients.
Yeah. And talk through
Just so you don't have to sit and listen to
us talk about.
Even though people do, which I thank everyone for listening because it's
weird.
It's weird. People knowing.
Yeah, that's right. I've got a few podcasts that I listen to.
Yeah, I do too.
You
True
love your
crime.
True crime.
Actually, that's probably something that I do. I listen. I do slip in a few business ones every now and then, but I do listen to my true crime podcast because that completely gets my mind
off work,
not in that.
No.
Not true crime.
But then you think if the front door's not locked, someone's going to murder you. So
Jimmy Leaf has a problem sometimes with not locking the front door. So now I've gone to locking the screen door and the.
I've noticed that.
Have you?
Yep.
Oh, because you leave before me in the
that's
morning
right.
and you'll go to walk out and the door will be
Yeah.
locked.
Yeah. So, but anyway, that's it.
That's
10
it.
CJ, 10
10
year
years.
JC.
Happy birthday. I can't believe it's been 10 years.
That's nuts.
We might we'll showcase some of our
We can't showcase old events.
we have to look at where we were.
I know.
Look at where we are now.
I know.
We'll be looking back in another 10 years time.
Yeah.
Gosh, I'm retired by then. I said I'm retiring at 50, so
Yeah.
I won't say how old I am now, but I'll be retired in 10 years.
You
You
just
have
did.
to you have to keep working though because you're younger than me.
Yeah. Yeah. All right.
No, you'll be out by then. We'll be retired life, living on a boat. Dream big, guys.
Anyway.
All right. Thanks, everyone.
Thanks for listening to our story. So checking out the Creating Experience podcast. You can find the podcast on Spotify and Apple Podcasts, as well as YouTube. Be sure to check out our socials as well. We're on Facebook and Instagram and LinkedIn as well. And if you have an event coming up that you need assistance on, feel free to head to our website, www.jcentertainment.com.au, or give us a call on 1-800-JC Events.